Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sport on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining on today's edition of the program. National Sports Festival still ongoing in Ogun State, but reports reaching us this time around is not what was expected to be witnessed or to happen at the ongoing National Sports Festival happening in Ogun State, where athletes and protesting over unpaid allowances. We are not even supposed to be having this conversation, but sadly, this is the current reality ongoing in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Chelsea yesterday won the UEFA Conference League after defeating Real Betis 4-1 in a dramatic form after, not scoring a goal in the first 45 minutes, but came back from behind to defeat Real Betis. And then moving on, still transfer window still on, very, very much open, as Al Hilal are offering Victor Osimhen 120 million euros to, be part of the squad that will be playing in the World Football Club with Cristiano Ronaldo. They are having those conversations, still transferring the still very much open. And then reasons around how Chelsea struggled and how they bounced back to win. We'll be having those conversations still. And Real Betis, Isco made mention of the fact that they lost a whole lot of opportunities to actually put the game to bed in the first 45 minutes, but they lost a whole lot of chances. And if you watch the game, you're obviously going to agree with him that they did lose a whole lot of chances. And then looking at other angles now, Tosin Adebore, Chelsea's defender, is making mention of the fact that, okay, he's still very much open to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, given the fact that he has not made any international debut for England, though he played in the junior team, but still, he's still very open. He hasn't won the Three Lions official jersey for the senior team, so it gives room for him to be able to, play for the Super Eagles. And again, in his words, he is open to coming to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. That is if he gets a call-up letter. And in the Unity Cup, the Super Eagles of Nigeria defeated Ghana, the Ghanaians, 2-1 to advance into the finals that will be played between Jamaica, the Reggae Boys, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We'll be having those conversations. And also NBA, OKC Thunders defeated Minnesota Timberwolves in the games 5, and now they have advanced. OKC Thunders have advanced into the NBA finals after a 5-game series where they won 4 games and Minnesota Timberwolves just won a game. So looking at that now, the journey has come to an end for Anthony Edwards and the entire team of Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll be having those conversations and more immediately after this break. To stay with us, we'll be right back. Yes, many thanks for staying with us. Now we are about to get into the conversations as I bring you an update of what's actually going on at the National Sports Festival, or the Gateway Games 2024, which is happening in 2025. Activities disrupted as Ogun athletes protest over unpaid allowances. Sporting activities scheduled for the day at the ongoing 22nd edition of the National Sports Festival tagged Gateway Games Ogun State 2024. As I yesterday morning experienced a major setback following the protest embarked upon by athletes representing host Ogun State over their unpaid allowances. Athletes who were camped at the Games Village located within the facility of Babcock University site in Ilesho, Remo, Ikene local government area of the state began to protest as early as 5 a.m. when they covered at the main gate of the village, blocking vehicular movements in and out of the premises. The premises that housed several other participating athletes from across the country had been blocked based on the fact that this protest started way very early. The protests accumulated in the grounding logistics as well as substantial number of contingents from other states who were also stranded because of the inability of vehicles to convey them to their various sporting centers for the events of the day. The athletes who were demanding payment of allowances promised by the Ogun State government before the commencement of the tournament lamented that several efforts to resolve the issues internally had failed. And like I rightly mentioned earlier, this is not the conversation we should be having in 2025 based on athletes complaining that they have not gotten their allowances and it's yet to be paid. So these individuals looking at the EPL, the NSF standards now, Ogun States are actually doing very well, given the fact they are number third currently on the medal table with in total, over 800 medals have been won by participants. So now looking at it now, these individuals protesting and having conversations about the fact that they have not been paid their allowances and it was promised to be paid way before. Now, it's just disheartening to see that incidents like this are still happening in this modern time and age, because the last time we had conversations like this was in 2024 when the federal government came in, the president came in and paid the backlog of, allowances and arrears that have been owed to players. And now we are still seeing the same thing happening again. So this is very, very worrisome. And again, this is how these athletes get to survive and feed themselves. So if we continue seeing incidents like this pan out almost on a yearly basis, then what does the future really say? Does the future really look bright for those that are in the sporting activities or those that are in the world of sport? It's actually a whole lot of concerns right now, but the Ogun State government definitely would need to step in and answer all of these questions and tell us really, are these athletes just being athletes, and then are they just raising eyebrows, or the debt has actually been paid? Because from what the reports reaching us, they said over 20 million naira and counting is what is being owed to these athletes. So all of these are actually very, very concerning. And if we want to have not just having the grassroots sporting activities in Nigeria being developed, but if you're not paying these athletes their allowances and their wages, then automatically there is no how they'll want to put in all of their best and make the states, make the country and then proud, or even want to travel abroad to go represent Nigeria, because it's actually not going to be, it's not welcoming for athletes to put in their best, spend long of hours, putting their body through a whole lot of work to just represent the country and try to make the country proud, and then at the end of the day they don't get their allowances. There's no how these individuals would perform very well. So it's very, very challenging, and it's very disheartening and disturbing to even have conversations like this. So the Ogun State government and every other person in charge should, answer to this and let us know if they've actually paid or they haven't paid. But if they have paid, the athletes won't come out and start protesting as early as 5 a.m. to disrupt the game of the day. So moving away from that, which is very sad, let's go into something a bit interesting. As Unity Cup 2025, the Super Eagles defeats Ghana to face Jamaica in the finals of the Unity Cup 2025. Nigeria recorded a comfortable 2-1 victory over Ghana in the second semi-final of the Unity Cup, which was played on Wednesday night. The Super Eagles dominated their West African rivals in the first half. Nigeria recorded a comfortable 2-1 win over Ghana in the second semi-final of the Unity Cup. So looking at all of these angles now, they raced into the 2-goal lead thanks to Cyril Dasi and Razak Sampson on goal. However, the Black Stars fought their way back into the contest and pulled a goal back through Brandon Thomas and Sante, but Ghana failed to find an equalizer against Nigeria, who produced a remarkable defensive play to propel their attack. The Black Stars will now take on Trandedi on later today in the finals, and then Ghana would be looking to bow out of the positive note when they face Trandedi and Tobago in their third place feature. Also later, this will be happening today, and then the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be taking on Jamaica later on Saturday to see how they'll be able to defend the championship that they won far back in 2004. This is very encouraging. And another person that was very, very exceptional for the game last night was Sadiq Ismail. Yes, Sadiq Ismail is a Nigerian that plays for Remo Stars, and his assist was what gave Nigeria the first opening of the game, the first goal of the game in the 14th minute, when Cyril Darcy, who is actually the current leading scorer in his league side in the European League. He is one of the top scorers as we speak now. So talking about Sadiq now, Sadiq targets more assists for Super Eagles after winning over Ghana. Sadiq Ismail hopes to provide more assists for Super Eagles after his impressive performance in team's victory over Ghana. Eric Chile's side recorded a 2-1 victory over the Black Stars in their Unity Cup semi-final contest at the Grange Community Stadium, which happened obviously last night. Ismail provided the assist for Cyril Darcy, opening goal in the 14th minute. The Super Eagles will take on the Reggae Boys of Jamaica in the final on Saturday. Ghana and Sokako Warriors of Trandedi and Tobago will clash in semi-finals tomorrow. So looking at Sadiq now, Sadiq is he is part of Remo Stars, and Remo Stars are the current champions of Nigerian Professional Football League. And again, this is his first time getting called up to the Super Eagles, and he has shown that he's actually very, very keen now. We've seen one of the key players that Eric Chile has discovered from the local scene, which is very, very impressive. And again, he dropped a whole lot of, big names for the Super Eagles to use players from the Junior League, the Nigerian Professional Football League, NPFL, and also a few players from Europe to play this competition. And again, it panned out well. Stanley Nwabali was there, Cyril Darcy was there, and Wilfred Ndidi and the likes of others were all around. But it shows that, okay, the plan for having these players, and mostly home-based players, building towards the qualification of World Cup for 2026 that will be played respectively in the US and Mexico, is showing that, okay, the plan is actually working out well. So looking at this now, to continue on this note and on this trajectory, I think it's working out. It's working out for him, but still, you need to do some work in the midfield, because watching the game yesterday, we lost a whole lot of positions in the midfield, and defensively the Super Eagles were very good, because the defensive stops that they had, crucial stops that they have from Kevin Bassey and co, helped stop a forceful attack, and then helped maintain the gap that the Super Eagles of Nigeria gave the Black Stars of Ghana. So that happened, and then we were excellent at defensive on the defensive end, but in the midfield there was a bit of problem. We weren't also clinical in the midfield area, and again, creating chances obviously starts from the midfield. We didn't create so much chances, but the little that we were able to create from the flank, that's from the right hand side and the left hand side, was what helped. And then Cyril Darcy was there to make sure that the ball finds the back of the net. We have a bunch of strikers that are doing amazingly well in Europe, and also they come back home with the same enthusiasm and then maintain the same star record. So congratulations to the Super Eagles, but more work needs to be done in the midfield so as more chances will be created. So I think Eric Chelle needs to make plans on finding the Super Eagles a very good creative midfielder. So when we advance into the World Cup, and if Alex Iwobi is not, all healthy, let's say injury happens, then we'll have someone else who can also fit in that role and also create amazing chances, so as the Super Eagles would be able to advance and contest for the World Cup title properly. So moving away from the Unity Cup, and let's still talk a little bit about Super Eagles, as Tosin Aderaboye sets to make decision on his international future. Chelsea defender Tosin Aderaboye has declared that he will soon make a decision on his international future. Aderaboye, who is 27 years old, was born in England to a Nigerian parents. The centre-back has represented England on 14 occasions between under 16 and under 17 levels. He is, however, still eligible to represent Nigeria at full international level, as he is yet to make senior debut for England. There are reports the former Man City player turned down a chance to represent Nigeria in the past. Aderaboye has, however, denied the report and claimed he needed time to settle down at Chelsea, and which he has done. In his words, he said he has never had conversations around that, and he has never turned down any report or any call-up letter from the Super Eagles. The only time he got called upon, he said he just got into Chelsea and he needs to find his footing and understand the system of Chelsea, which he has been doing so much well ever since he found his footing. And we saw that he had a bit of injury worries during the season, but he recovered swiftly and fast, and then we are seeing results already, as Chelsea individuals are seeing results that he is playing very well. So looking at those angles now and what is going to be done in the long run, we think he should get the letter, because we saw what happened during the 2024 all of AFCON, where fatigue and the fact that we didn't have other sets of defenders affected the game, and that was what attributed and contributed to the fact that Super Eagles lost to Ivory Coast in that finals. Yes. So looking at it now, if he comes, then we have Kelvin Bassey, we have Trust Ekong, we also have Aderaboye, we also have Kenneth Omeru. So we have 4, 5 and 6 players, right and left backs, that are actually very, very good. So these guys are very good. He is starting. All of these are defenders starts for their teams, and they are very, very crucial. He starts for Chelsea. Kelvin Bassey starts for Fulham, and the trajectory. Eric Ekong also starts for his own club side, and Kenneth Omeru also starts for his own club side. So this man is actually going to be a very good fit for the Super Eagles as we speak. So it's left for Eric Chelle to send him a call-up later, because come the month of June and July, final games around World Cup qualifiers will be played, and it's going to be very crucial for the Super Eagles of Nigeria to advance and also to be in those phases of the competition. So moving on, since we're talking about inviting and also transfers, let's talk about quick transfer. Victor Osimhen for a very long time has actually been in the news in terms of transfers, and a big story is coming out as Victor Osimhen received 120 million euros offer to play with Cristiano Ronaldo in FIFA Club World Cup. Al Hilal are ready to offer Victor Osimhen a massive package this summer. The Saudi Pro League side are also looking at signing Cristiano Ronaldo from the rival team Al Nassr. So looking at it now, Al Hilal will offer Victor Osimhen 120 million euros over a 3-year deal. Al Hilal are ready to offer Victor Osimhen a massive package this summer. So looking at dates now, as it stands, they are keen to having Osimhen in their squad for next month's Club World Cup. So they're even ready to get the money going. Osimhen spent the season on a year loan deal at Galatasaray from Napoli during the time in Turkey. The Super Eagles striker scored 36 goals in 40 matches across all competitions and creating 9 assists. With Osimhen attracting interest from other top European clubs, Al Hilal are desperate to sign the 26-year-old as they dream of having a successful Club World Cup campaign to compensate for their dethroning as Saudi champions by Al Ittihad. They have also set their sights on Cristiano Ronaldo, who hinted that he is set to leave Al Nassr. So looking at it now, The problem now, I think, is Victor Osimhen wants to play in the Champions League. I think that's what the problem is, and I think that's where it lies, because he has literally done what he can in Napoli, winning the championship and also becoming the highest goal scorer while he was there before going on loan to Galatasaray in the month of November 2024 and just playing 40 games in all competition, scoring 36 goals. That means if you want to calculate it and say he plays 40 games, that means you can say that, okay, he scored a goal in 36 matches, and then that gave him 36 goals. But no, Victor Osimhen scored, sometimes he scored a hat-trick, and then he scored he scored 2 goals and all of that. So looking at it now, he's actually in his prime. So would he be moving there? I don't think he's going to be moving there, because I'm sure him going there is going to give more relevance to the Saudi Pro League. No doubt about that. It's going to give it more relevance. More people would want to tune in and know what's happening in the Saudi Pro League. That was why Neymar and Cristiano Ronaldo and the likes of Sadio Mane, Benzema were all sent there. But still, they are not getting that level of visibility that they want. Victor Osimhen is the man that will bring that, not just bringing that, but he's also going to score goals and break records and set records for other players that will be coming to play in those Saudi Pro League. But will he fit in properly? Yes, he's going to fit in properly based on his aggressive nature and how well he's playing. Now, let's go back to the money. 120 million for 3 years. His release clause already is 70 million pounds alone. So now, from the maths that we're saying now, he wants to, the Saudi Pro League guys, Al Hilal wants to pay him around 20 million pounds on annually. So if you do the maths now, I think that's where the problem would be. But still, Manchester United are very key, and from reports reaching us, they are getting closer and closer by the day to landing Victor Osimhen. Chelsea too are very getting close, but Arsenal haven't made so much move. Juventus is totally out of the picture. PSG are more focused right now in winning this weekend's EPL, which is what they are focusing on more. So we'll see what would happen. The windows are still open, and immediately after the Champions League this weekend, certainly, and the whole celebrations and all, we will see how well other teams will react to, signing Victor Osimhen and other players that will be looking not to extend their contracts with their current teams. So moving away from the transfers, 5 teams in the EPL finished the 2024-2025 season with trophies. 5 teams from the Premier League teams finished with the 2024-2025 season with the silverware. This is the highest number of clubs to win trophies in a single season. Chelsea's victory over Real Betis in the UEFA Europa Conference League saw them become the 5th team to win a trophy. Earlier in the campaign, Liverpool were confirmed champions of the league thanks to a 5-1 home win over Tottenham Hotspur. It was the Reds' second Premier League title win in 5 years. Newcastle ended a 70-year wait after they beat Liverpool 1-0 in the Carabao Cup final, with Don Burns scoring the winner at Wembley 2 weeks ago. Crystal Palace also defeated Manchester City 1-0 in the FA Cup final to lift their first ever trophy in history. Tottenham Hotspur beat Manchester United 1-0 in an All-English Europa League final to end a miserable season with silverware and the Champions League sports. So looking at all of this now, it's looking good for, underdogs, like they say, though they are not underdogs, but from what individuals and sport fans have said, underdogs this season won lots of trophies, just like Crystal Palace winning their first ever trophy against a team like Manchester City actually is something to actually really celebrate. Now, UEFA Conference League final, Chelsea trashed Real Betis to lift a trophy. Chelsea came from behind to defeat Real Betis 4-1 in the final of the UEFA Conference League on Wednesday night. The Blues came into the game as huge favorites to win the trophy, but it was Betis who began quickly and took an early lead. However, it was a game of 2 halves as Chelsea took complete control of the second 45 minutes. Enzo Fernandez, who captained the team on the night, headed in the equalizer before Cole Palmer set up Nicola Jackson to head Chelsea in front. The Premier League side added 2 more goals through Jadon Sancho and Maurice Caicedo. Enzo Maresca's men, who clinched Champions League spot last weekend, have now finished the season with silverware, and also they are the first club to win the Champions League spot, European League spot, and Conference League spot in history. So this is not just winning a match, but this is almost like a treble, securing the Champions League spot, European League spot, and also Conference League. So 2025-2026 season is actually going to be a whole lot of work for Chelsea, and it depends on Enzo Maresca on how he will be able to manage the team and also manage the stress level, because these players will also be getting call-ups from their countries aside from playing for their club side. So it's just a whole lot. Fatigue might sit in, they might get exhausted, which is very true. But now, Chelsea are living the dream of winning and celebrating the trophy. Coming into this season, Enzo Maresca says the goal was to advance into the Champions League. That has happened, and not just that didn't just happen, but trophies now are an additional plus. So we saw how the whole game started quietly and slowly for Chelsea. Real Betis had lots of chances in the first half to lay the game to rest, but that didn't happen because of the fact that they were not being so clinical in the front of goal. But Chelsea defended so well, and then in the second half they found momentum, and then they scored 4 goals in the second 45 minutes that helped seal the game. So moving away, still talking Conference League final, this is what Isco had to say. Real Betis playmaker Isco has admitted that they failed to convert their first half domination over Chelsea into goals in the Europa Conference League final. Speaking after the 4-1 defeat to the Blues in Poland, Isco said they paid the price for taking their foot off the pedal, that's off the gas. The La Liga side took an early lead in the first half, but they failed to add more goals. Betis were taken apart in the second half as Chelsea scored 4 times through Enzo Fernandez, Nicola Jackson, Jordan Sancho, and Moses Caicedo. So looking at this now, it shows that, okay, Chelsea were more prepared and they were more hungry to, win that game, and still they had the opportunities and they took them without looking back. We'll be going on a quick break. When we return back, I'll be bringing you highlights of the game between OKC Thunders and Minnesota Timberwolves in the Game 5 series of the NBA playoffs. That's talking about the Western Conference playoffs. Now, we'll be having that conversation immediately after this break. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television.